Hi, it's Brighid, and today I'm going to talk about our ancestors. I'm going to talk about the importance of our ancestors and how we can honor and incorporate the ancestors in with our modern spirit practices or our everyday spirit practices. And I want to start off by saying that when people are connected to the land that they live on, it's easier to connect with the ancestors. And when people are living on the land where their ancestors were originally born, it's also a little easier to connect with the ancestors because the ancestors and the spirits of the land are tightly connected. And so when you don't live on the land where your ancestors were originally born, you absolutely can connect with and honor them. It just changes it a bit. And a lot of folks here in North America are not native to here. And so we have to work at creating opportunities to understand and engage with the ancestors. And some reasons why we would do that is because the ancestors are connected to our biological energy. They're connected to us on a soul level. And they offer a lot of guidance and wisdom. We wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be born if our ancestors did not carve the way, pave the way for us. I always say that we stand on the backs or the shoulders of those who have gone before us. And there's a story there. There's struggles that our ancestors went through, and there are achievements that our ancestors went through. There are genocides and traumas that some folks' ancestors have gone through, and those can be both healed and celebrated when we work with our ancestors. And the more we do that, the more we have a richer experience in our own everyday lives. In shamanic cultures or earth-based cultures, ancestors are incorporated as a natural part of life. They're looked at often as people who are in existence just on another plane. And so their wisdom, their love, and their energy is tappable. So they're looked at as a guiding force, and they're looked at as like the old wise ones, the elders that we go to for advice. They come through us, they speak to us, and they can help to remind us where our roots are. They can help us to remember our roots, as well as remind us that we're not alone. We're not in some bubble, unconnected to the past. We're connected to the past, and we can tap into those connections and really allow them to guide us, to heal us, as well as allow ourselves to do conscious, intentional work to heal some of the ancestral trauma that has gone on in many lineages, in many cultures. So what I'd love for us to do from here on out is to realize that you are a human being who belongs to a family who has a history. You have a history. Your mother, your mother's mother, your mother's mother's mother, your grandmother's way, way back, all of their wisdom is inside of you. And that wisdom is tappable. We're often looking for answers, and we're often thinking we don't have them. We don't commonly go within to get those answers. And by go within, I mean we go within, but I mean we don't go into our own lineage to get those answers. And when we start doing that, there's a lot more information that's available to us. So what I'd love this month for you to do, and some ways that you can incorporate the ancestors in your practice and open your awareness to working with your ancestors, are to create a space in your practice to honor them. So I'm going to give you a few ideas of how to incorporate your awareness and your love and your communication with your ancestors. I'm going to give you some examples of how to do that, and then you can take that and run with it as much or as little as you like. So the first thing that you can do is create a space in your life, just with the awareness that you are more than just this physical body here in the year, whatever year we're in, that you are part of a tribe, you're part of a lineage, you're part of a generational energy, right? And that those energies of those generations live inside of you. They're in your bone marrow, they're in your blood, they're in your DNA. So inside of you is the wisdom of 1,000 feet, right? Thousands and thousands of footsteps. That wisdom is inside of you. So open that awareness as you walk through the day. And we're talking about, when I'm talking about connection with ancestors, we can connect both with our recent ancestors and our ancient ancestors. When I teach ancestor work in some of the shamanic workshops, we go back to the ancestors who were alive before trauma happened. That's one of the things that my teacher, Becky Shining Bearheart, received through her work with spirit and passed on to me as a process to be able to do that. We're not going to do that today, but it's something that I learned is really, really helpful in working with the ancestors. So we're going to create a space in your practice, in your awareness, to honor them. And you can do that by creating space on your altar to have something that reminds you of an ancestor. And it can be a picture of your grandmother who's crossed over. It can be a family heirloom. It can be an icon or a deity or some spiritual representation of something that your people held sacred. So you can place something on your altar that is dedicated to the ancestors. You can also create an altar that's made just to honor your ancestors. It can have its space all on its own. So that's one idea that you can incorporate into your everyday practice to honor the ancestors. Another idea is to, when you're sitting in your sacred space or at your altar, to breathe, do whatever practice of meditation or quieting your mind or movement, whatever you do, and light a candle and ask for the wisdom of your ancestors to move through you. When you do that, you can just honor the ancestors in general, or you can be more specific. You can intend to invite the energy of the ancestors on one side of your family or the other. Some people have more or a stronger connection with one side than the other. You can develop a connection with both. You can also dedicate a meditation, either one meditation or a week's worth of meditation, to one side of your lineage. You can use some of the meditations that I've shared with you that take you to a place where you connect with spirit, and you can go ask to meet an ancestor on your mother's side or your father's side or one side of your family and see what percolates, see what happens. The ancestors are wanting to connect with us, and opening the space to allow our relationship with them to breathe is one of the best ways we can do that. If you want to connect specifically to one or the other side of your lineage, if you have a piece of jewelry from a recent ancestor, you can wear that, hold that, work with that while you're doing your meditation or your practice to connect with that side of the family. So those are some simple ideas of and ways to incorporate your relationship or your newly forming relationship and understanding of the ancestors into your day-to-day life. So take that all in, let me know how it lands, and hop on over to our group and tell me one thing that you want to do to expand your relationship with your ancestors or to honor your ancestors. Okay, I'll see you soon.